Hello, hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to run an experiment. This experiment is about reading a book to you. I've heard this feedback a lot that we are not into reading books. We will go to Spotify or audiobooks or maybe watch a video, but never into reading the books. So I thought maybe I will share and read a book to you. I have a cup of coffee with me here. In fact, actually it's tea. And the book I've picked up today is by it's Turning the Flywheel by Jim Collins. And I hope it's interesting and gives you some insight of how things work around. It's not the best of the books, but bear with me and we'll go through some of the text which I think are important for us. Turning the Flywheel. The book starts with a quote from Pierre-Luigi Nerve, and it is as follows. Beauty does not come from decorative effects, but from structural coherence. I repeat, structural coherence, and it will all make sense as we go through it. So I'll go through the text now. In the autumn of 2001, just as Good to Great first hit the market, Amazon.com invited me to engage in the spirited dialogue with the founder, Jeff Bezos, and a few members of his executive team. This was right in the middle of the dot-com bust, when some wondered how or if Amazon could recover and prevail as a great company. I taught them about the flywheel effect. Yeah, that's the title of the book, The Flywheel Effect, that we uncovered in our research in creating a good to great transformation. I will highlight that word, good to great transformation, the word which we are hearing a lot these days. So there is no single defining action, no grand program, no single killer innovation, no solitary lucky break, no miracle. Since we believe in a lot of miracles, let's hear it again. No miracle moments. Rather, it feels like turning a giant heavy flywheel. Pushing with great effort, you get the flywheel to inch forward. You keep pushing, and with persistent effort, you get the flywheel to complete one entire turn. You don't stop, you keep pushing. The flywheel moves a bit faster. 2 turns, then 4, then 8, and then the flywheel builds momentum. 16, 32, moving faster, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and then at some point, breakthrough. The flywheel flies forward with almost unstoppable momentum. Once you fully grasp how to create a flywheel momentum in your particular circumstances and apply that understanding with creativity and discipline, you get the power of strategic compounding. That's the important phrase to remember, strategic compounding. Each turn builds upon previous work as you make a series of good decisions and supremely well executed that compound one upon another. This is how you build greatness. So the writer Jim Collins has just given us a definition of how to build greatness and the concept of strategic compounding. Some guys have missed it. The writer then continues to write. The Amazon team grabbed onto the flywheel concept and deployed it to articulate the momentum machine that drove the enterprise at its best. From its inception, Bezos had infused Amazon with an obsession to create an ever more value for ever more customers. It's a powerful animating force, perhaps even a noble purpose, but the key differentiator lay not just in the good intent, but in the way Bezos and company turned it into a repeating loop. As Bradstone later wrote in the Everything Store, Bezos and his lieutenants sketched their own virtuous cycle, which they believe powered their business. It went like this. Lower prices led to more customer visits. More customer visits increased the volume of sales and attracted more commission-paying third-party sellers to the site. That allowed Amazon to get more out of the fixed costs like fulfillment centers and servers needed to run the website. This greater efficiency then enabled it to lower prices further and feed any part of this flywheel they reasoned, and it should accelerate the loop. Another important paragraph from this book is as follows. Let me grab a coffee. This is how it goes. Never underestimate the power of a great flywheel, especially when it builds compounding momentum over a very long time. Once you get your flywheel right, you want to renew and extend the flywheel for years to decades. Decision upon decision, action upon action, turn by turn, each loop adding to the cumulative effect. But to the best accomplish this, you need to understand how your specific flywheel turns. Your flywheel will not be identical to Amazon, but it should be just as clear and its logic equally sound. The writer further goes ahead and explains another key concept which I've highlighted here on the book here, and I'm going to read it to you. A key aspect of how the best flywheels work. If you nail one component, you are propelled into the next component, and the next, and the next, and the next, almost like a chain reaction. In thinking about your own flywheel, it's absolutely vital that it's not conceived as merely a list of stated objectives that you have simply drawn as a circle. It must capture the sequence that ignites and accelerates the momentum. So before it really gets boring, let's wrap it up. There are some key concepts which we have discussed in this book. Number one, the concept of strategic compounding, a series of good decisions, and how do we build greatness. Then we also discussed about virtuous cycle, and we learned some characteristics of how a flywheel works, the concept of acceleration, and how different elements of flywheels are connected. For those who are still interested in reading, I would recommend you to go and buy this book. It will be available on Kindle or otherwise. I will be discussing more concepts from this book, maybe in another video. Until then, have a good rest of the day and watch out for my next video.